The only beauty of having a party in your own house is that the smiling host can sneak away. My routine is to go up to my room at 5 and only reappear at dinner, returning to my room at 8 sharp to reread Cakes and Ale. What a masterly book that is. Ethel, meanwhile, is the belle of the ball. It's funny because she really loves peace and quiet as much as I. But then she does get occasional yearnings for all of that Act 2, the terrace at Meadowsweet Manor stuff.
Oh. Were you a dancer, Ethel? Gosh, you shiver like the breeze.
Well, yes, I was in vaudeville in New York for a while. And I worked as an actress in repertory when my husband died and I had to earn a living.
Oh, you've been married before?
Yes, twice. And widowed twice, unfortunately. But number 2 was a suicide.
What a shame.
Oh, third time lucky. My plumbie is a prince among men. But he lives in the moon, really, so he does like having me around to help him with day-to-day things. He says the only way of ensuring a happy marriage is to make it very clear at the outset who is going to skipper the team. Well, we settled that on the honeymoon, and it's been plain sailing ever since. He also believes that unless you're in love with her, you can dispense with any woman. All his real friendships are with men.
And you don't have children?
No. Plum had mumps when he was a boy, do you see, and it made him impotent. We have separate bedrooms now. It suits us both.
Hello, Sam.
Hi there, Plum. I've got your contract.
Oh, that's great, thanks.
A sign here and here. It's liable to instant cancellation if you should happen to go out of your mind.
Oh, is that like it?
Are you kidding? It's an occupational hazard in this town, my friend.
And if I did, how would they distinguish me from the rest?
How's your script coming, by the way?
Oh, I've done some new pages. Here. The butler's talking on the phone to the Earl, but the Earl is so furious with his nephew that he can hardly speak. Butler says, "I fancy the phrase hell and damnation is the one your lordship would find most satisfactory, my lord." Oh, thank you, my lord.
Very elegant.
Well, anyway, only 6 more pages to go. What'll happen to the script when I've finished?
Oh, then it goes to the gagsters.
The who?
The gagsters? What you need to understand is that Mr. Mayor believes if one writer can do a good job, then 5 writers can do 5 times better. So he has ideas men who don't even have an office. They just wander around and get brilliant ideas for pictures. Then you'll have a constructionist who lays out the script, followed by a continuity writer, then someone to add polish, sophisticated dialogue and whatnot. That's where you come in.
And who has the final say?
Well, the ChargeMELT in the factory is the producer, and here at MGM, that's Thalberg. He keeps the writers writing, the directors directing, and the cutters cutting. None of them ever get together. They never even talk to one another. The only unifying factor is the producer.
This place is making me lazier and lazier. It isn't a good sort of laziness in which you gain strength, but a bad sort in which your character becomes weaker and weaker, and you care less and less about whether you do anything properly or not. I'm beginning to think of money more than at any time in my life before. My trouble is that I'm never really happy except when I'm working. And by working, I don't so much mean the actual writing as the feeling that one could write if one wanted to.
Martini, dear. The sun is over the yard arm.
I bring the good news from Aches to Ghent, Plum. This is the one you've been waiting for. We're gonna convert Rosalie to the moving pictures.
Rosalie? What, my Rosalie?
Yes, your Rosalie, your musical comedy, big hit on Broadway, now to be adapted for the cinema, starring the lovely Marion Davies. Come on, bring your notebook. There's a story conference in the Hacienda right now with the boy Wonder.
Righto.
I saw the show on Broadway, Irving, and it was delightful. When the princess makes her first entrance, there are 50 beautiful chorus girls in peasant costumes and 50 brave hussars in uniforms of ivory white and tomato bisque. And they make a sort of archway with their swords, and then the lights come on and the house holds its breath and the orchestra swells, and Rosalie makes her entrance.
Yes, Dorothy, but that's legitimate theater. That's Uptown Broadway. We have to pull story. A good story is pivotal to the success of a picture. Tell me the story of your Rosalie, Plum.
Well, she's not really mine, if truth be told. I just read the lyrics of some of the songs and souped up the libretto. It was my chum Guy Bolton who concocted the thing. He had the idea when Queen Marie of Romania did a tour of America, and everybody got rather excited because they thought Romania was the same as Ruritania. It's tosh, really, but audiences seemed to lap it up. Played more than 350 performances at the New Amsterdam.
Yes, but the story.
Oh, righto. Romancer is a European principality, you see, desperately in need of cash. 2 West Point cadets are vacationing there. At a hop in the town, one of these mashers meets Rosalie, who's having fun there, but incognito. He falls for her, falls good and hard, and then just when everything's going nice and smooth, she pulls off her whiskers and says, "April Fool, you fool, I'm no lady, I'm a princess." When her father, the king, discovers what has happened, he threatens to have Bob put to death. Bob flees the country. Act 2, the royal family makes a tour of the USA, and West Point is one of their destinations. The lovers meet again, and Rosalie decides to give up her throne and marry for love. She sings, "Oh boy, but isn't love great? Gee whiz. Hey ho, I'm willing to state it is. Don't know who the chap was who first began it, but it's the only thing on this planet."
That's it?
Well, that's just the gist. We have some nice scenes with the king who would prefer not to be a king.
I think we'll have to pep it up a bit. Let's try it this way. We start in the royal palace of Romanza. It's summer and the king's hot in his heavy purple robes. He's played by Roland Young. He hates to be a king anyway, would prefer to be playing golf or going to the races. The queen, she's Marie Dressler. She loves court and is forever conferring medals of honor on all sorts of people. They have 2 children. The crown prince, who is bored with life and dominated by his mother, and a daughter, Rosalie, who the king dotes on. He would prefer her to succeed him.
But look, Irving, that's why the...
Now, the court is receiving foreign visitors, a quiet little shindig of about 400 people. Among them is a vacationing American. We'll call him Bob, a wealthy West Point cadet. He thinks that she's just another girl who's after him for his money. For the first time in her life, the princess meets someone who tells her the truth about herself. In fact, the brutal truth. The scene ends with a battle of wills between the 2. Bob on top, and the princess liking it tremendously. In the 3rd reel, we have the royal family touring America, where the king hopes to raise a loan. There's to be a grand ball at West Point. The fanfare of approaching royals. Salutes and bows, and Bob discovers that Rosalie is the princess. The jig is up. There is a scene later between the princess and her father, where he comforts her, but says sadly that romance and charm are things that we cannot buy, things that kings and queens cannot often get, things that are not for their lives.
Oh, marvelous, Irving.
Oh, but look, Irving, this is all different. I thought we were just going to do some minor changes to the libretto.
That's not what we do. Try it my way. I'm sure it'll work. You'll give it class and style. That's what we brought you here to do. Elegant English, the language of Shaw and Shakespeare.
I'll need a piano, of course, and a piano player.
What?
It's a musical comedy. I'll have to work on the songs, change the lyrics.
No, we can't have a piano in the writer's block. Are you crazy? They have to concentrate. It's hard enough to get them back from the commissariat after lunch.
Well, I'll have to work from home then.
No, we can't have that.
I'll keep an eye on him, Irving. I think it'll be okay.
And we can loan him a rehearsal pianist. They're all kicking their heels in the music department since you shelved that Nelson Eddy picture.
Oh, hello, Clarence. What are you doing here? I don't need the car today. I'm working here on the songs with a pianist.
That's me, sir. I'm your pianist.
I thought you were a teamster.
No. I only do the driving when they've no work in the music studios.
Oh, well, come on through. The piano's in the sun lounge.
Yes, sir. I've been here before. This was Norma Shear's house, you know. And she bought the piano when she was working on Student Prince in old Heidelberg.
Wasn't that a silent picture?
You are right, sir. I guess you wanted to get in the mood.
Well, anyway, here we are. Let's start with this. The Hussars' March. Yes, that's it. I lead a regiment bold, each man like those knights of old, of whom the poets tell. In moonlight parties or when out on the dancing floor, they cast a magic spell. But though they're fine at cotillions and quite outshine all civilians, don't think these gentlemen are mere ornamental men. They're made for use as well. That's terrific, Clarence. You have a lovely touch.
Thank you, sir. So, what are we gonna do with this song, Mr. Woodhouse? You wanna give it new words?
Well, I don't see the point, do you? It's a jolly good song. Always got an encore in the theater. But the way Mr. Thalberg works, anything that doesn't whack the story up will be thrown out. Does he even like music, do you happen to know?
Well, we were recording the score last week in the music studio, and the chief came by to hear some themes. Halfway through the opening titles, he shouted, "Stop! Stop! What is that in the music just there? It's awful! I hate that. What is it?" The conductor said, "That's a minor chord, Mr. Thalberg." The next day, a notice was pinned up on the entrance to the music studio. It read, "MGM is a major studio. From this date onwards, no music in an MGM film is to contain a minor chord."
I've had some more ideas. I want to make some changes.
Okay, Chief.
If Marion Davis is to play this princess, we've got to give her some scenes where she can show her spunk, so the audience understands why her father thinks she can be queen one day.
That's great, Irving. That'll make all the difference.
Here's what we could do. We'll have the royal party arriving at West Point in a yacht.
Sorry I'm late, boss. Winky's been bitten by a tarantula. But no harm done.
It's his dog.
Oh, okay. Well, I've given Sam and Dorothy some notes for a new draft. We think you should start over.
So you don't want to see the new scenes I've done, the way you told it last time?
No, forget that. Let's try again. We've got plenty of time. Also, I think what you should do now is to write the script as a novel.
You want me to write a book? A whole book?
Yes, it'll be easier for you. It's what you're used to. When you've done that, Sylvia will make a scenario from your pages.
Who is Sylvia? What is she?
My sister, Sylvia. She's a very skillful screenwriter. She'll put in the continuity, close-up, long shot, all of that technical detail. I gotta go now. See you next week.
We are in the soup. I can feel the mulligatawny sloshing round my ankles.
Relax, Plum. It'll be okay. Next week he'll have a new idea.
But does he have to make every single decision?
We've been invited by the Hearst to go up to San Simeon for the weekend. Marion Davies wants you to tell her all about Rosalie, as she's to play the lead. There's to be a Hawaiian party. Everyone has to wear grass skirts and lures.
Well, I don't think I shall be able to go, thankfully. This one-man chain gang is now back on page 1 of the said ill-fated Rosalie. It's a beastly fag, and it will, I am certain, be a perfectly rotten picture. They're only doing it as a vehicle for Marion.
And to keep the peace with William Randolph Hearst, who's besotted with her.
I don't think I like the new Hollywood, Bunny. Nothing is what it affects to be. What looks like a tree is really a slab of wood backed with barrels. The towering palace of Harun al-Rashid is actually a cardboard model, and the languorous lagoon is a smelly tank with a stagehand called Ed waiting about in a bathing suit. Well, imagine this effect on a sensitive-minded author. Taught at his mother's knee to love the truth, he now finds himself surrounded by people making fortunes using what can only be called chicanery. He begins to wonder whether Mother had the right idea. After a month or two of this, could you trust an author to count his goal shots correctly? Or to give his right circulation figures? Answer me that. Or rather, don't. It is not necessary.
Well, only another 7 weeks to go on the contract. The dogs will be pleased to get home.
What you should do now is to write the script as a novel.
The King of Romanza is conferring with his daughter, the Princess Rosalie, in her suite of the palace. Why are we going to America, Father? To float alone. Apparently we need one. The Chancellor says so. Anyway, says Rosalie, changing the subject abruptly, I'm not going to marry Prince Karl of Schlossstein. Why ever not? I don't like him. He has watery eyes.
Try it. I'm sure it'll work.
Rosalie was panting. She looked at Bob with wide eyes. May I get my breath, please? She sat down on a tree stump. He stood watching her. More than ever, he was feeling that this was not an ordinary girl. It was not merely her looks, it was the way she spoke, the way she moved. He scented a mystery and was intrigued. Something of his normal caution left him.
If I had a talking picture of you.
The Queen raged, the Queen stormed. Rosalie waited patiently. Then, I'm just off to be married, she said. The Queen began again. Do you realize who you are? Yes. You're the Princess of Romanza. No, said Rosalie, just a girl in love. Ugh. Hi, Sam. Nearly there, nearly there. The end is in sight. 129 pages of wholesome fiction. Finer by far than anything Edgar Allan Poe might have dashed off on a rainy Sunday.
The thing is, Plum, Irving's changed his mind again.
What do you mean?
They're dropping Rosalie. They've decided to take it off the production list. It won't be made this year or next.
Well, but I'm nearly finished. I mean, look, page 130. This has been the most beastly sweat of my years of literary endeavor. 45,000 blood-stained words, and now you're telling me that it was a complete waste of my time?
Well, it seems that theatre managers have decided 1930 is not the year for old-fashioned musical comedy. Audiences need more red meat today. What can I tell you, Plum? We construct many beautiful kites, but very few will fly. That's Hollywood.
Plummy, there's a lady here from the Los Angeles Times. She wants to talk to you. What did you say your name was, dear?
Elma Whitaker.
Oh, down, Winky. Down, Boo. They're peaks. I'm afraid they don't welcome visitors.
I'm coming, Bunny.
He swims 3 times every day, sometimes more. He loves the pool.
And have you enjoyed your time here, Mrs. Woldhouse?
Yes, it's been grand. Lots of lovely parties. We're going to San Simeon at the weekend. I'm told that Chaplin will be there, and Maureen O'Sullivan. We're to dress in Hawaiian style. Do you know where I might borrow a grass skirt?
How do you do?
Oh, it's a thrill to meet you, sir.
Please.
My editor is keen that I should find out how a great English writer views the movie capital of the world.
Well, it's been quite instructive. And I do love this sunny garden with its palms and its pool. It's what every Englishman dreams about on a muggy day at home.
And what of the work that you've been doing at MGM?
I have to tell you that the motion picture business dazes me. They've been extremely nice to me. Oh, extremely. MGM paid me $2,000 a week. And I can't actually see what they engaged me for. I understood that I was to write stories for the screen. Yet apparently they had the greatest difficulty in finding anything for me to do.
Oh dear, what a shame.
Well, I don't want to be critical. I'm merely trying to understand their point of view. For instance, I can't for the life of me see why just 2 people should not be sufficient to collaborate on a scenario. The author and a good continuity writer. Why does it need 16 or more?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It must be frustrating. What were the titles of those films?
One was 3 French Girls, a farce, which I'm told has been modestly profitable for the studio. Then they sent me to work on a film called Rosalie.
Rosalie.
Yes, which was to have some musical numbers. It was a pleasant little thing, and I put in 3 months on it. When it was finished, they thanked me politely and said that as musicals didn't seem to be going so well, they guessed they wouldn't use it after all. And that about sums up what I was asked to do for my $104,000. Isn't it amazing?
Would you like a cocktail, Alma? We usually have one about now.
Thank you. That would be very nice. Could I use your phone?
Are you crazy, Irvin? How much will we be paying this limey scribbler?
$2,000 a week.
$2,000?
Dorothy, what's happening? Where's Irving?
Oh, he's in there with Louis.
Has he read the Times?
What do you think?
The cat it would appear is out of the bag.
And tell him to get off my lot!
He's not on the lot.
If I find him out there, I'll knock him down!
Hello? This is Evan Woodhouse speaking. Yes? Yes, he's having his breakfast. He'll telephone you later. I'll tell him. That's variety plumbing. You want a comment?
About what, I don't wonder.
You say there's also an editorial about you in today's Tribune. I'll find it. Oh, and Bobby Denby's coming around after breakfast. He needs to talk to you about tax.
Yes. Well, you know my view, Bunny dearest, that it's not a particularly good idea to entrust important financial matters to a chum, however brilliant and funny and charming that chum may be. Will he be staying the night as usual?
Do you mind if he does?
No, of course not.
Oh, that'll be him. Oh, here's the Tribune piece.
Mr. Woodhouse must be among the first to bring Hollywood's extravagances out in the open. He describes a callous world where talents are retained to be left unused, where the hiring of distinguished authors is without rhyme and their firing without reason.
What a plum.
Hello, Bobby. That interview of mine seems to have had something of the effect of the late assassination in Sarajevo. But I don't really care that my career as a movie writer is over. I don't think I can do picture writing. It definitely needs an unoriginal mind. Anyway, what's the good news from the IRS?
Well, it looks like we owe about $32,000 in back taxes from 1926.
Great Scott! What do you suggest we do?
I think the only way is to face it and have done with it.
Pay up? Are you crazy? What shall we do, Bunny? Is it time to cut and run?
Well, we can't go back to England. The Inland Revenue is now sniffing around your American earnings. I think they favour the idea of you paying some English income tax as well. Double taxation. It's so unfair. We could go to France. There's that farmhouse in Aubois up in the Alps.
Domaine de la Frayère. Yes, that's an idea. We could make some economies, live the simple life.
We'd only need a cook and a driver and a valet for you. And a gardener, of course. And a housemaid. It would be nice and quiet. You could crack on with your writing.
Yes. In a way, I'm not sorry that this tax business has reared its ugly head. I've been restraining myself from satirizing Hollywood out of love and loyalty to old M&G&M. Now that the pay envelopes have dried up, I could fire up some strong stuff knocking them good. The writer is out for revenge. Jacob Z. Schellenhamer was not equipped to be an intellectual. Had he attempted the conquest of any corner of the world requiring powers of aesthetic discrimination, this merchant bandit would have been a dead duck, none deader. And so, informed by a deep-seated instinct that told him where his destiny lay, he made a beeline for a profession ideally suited to his considerable limitations. He went into motion pictures, went into them with the same sigh of recognition with which a pig will slide into mud. No matter how many talented members of the literati Mr. Schellenhamer might lure out to the coast, the degree of idiocy in his pictures never wavered.
These are hard times. If we must fight the growing trend of the public mind towards the morbid and the hectic.
is still joy in the world, still the happy laughter of children and the singing of bluebirds.
That's all right about the bluebirds, but we gotta cut down on expenses. We have to do some salary slicing.
Cutting your salary, Chief. If you do that, it will cause alarm. People will think things must be in a bad way. It's your
I wasn't thinking of cutting my own salary so much. Yours more, if you see what I mean.
It's not easy to explain in my mind the intricate ramifications of a Hollywood motion picture organization. There are the nodders and there are the yes men. A nodder, like a yes man, but lower in the social scale. A yes man's duty is to attend story conferences and say, yes. A nodder's duty, as the name implies, is to nod, etc.
think that's a wrap.
Geen snacks, geen lamps, dat is zo 8 euro in deze acht, maar je weg, is hoe min weet.